For everyone in this room today, I am here to share my story. Doing this is never easy for me. As I stand here before the world, because of my story and the story of thousands of women, men, including children, raped during the Kosovo War 1998 and 1999. It is the story of the victims in the conflicts and wars in places today. Justice is never fully served for us or for them. So as I share my story, don't applaud me for my courage. Stand with me in demanding accountability for me and for them. My beautiful Kosovo. My beautiful Kosovo is Europe's newest democratic country. You are here in Kosovo today that marks a lot of commemorations, mainly NATO intervention. NATO, it saved our lives. It stopped Milosevic's Serbian regime from committing more murder, massacres, atrocities, torture, fires, and rape to vulnerable, terrified human beings. 25 years ago, as most of my peers were celebrating their sweet 16th, thinking about college or simply hanging out with their friends after school, I was living in a world of fear and war. On April 14th, 1999, on April 14th, 1999, I was only 16. I was abducted by a Serbian police officer, and I was taken to a Serbian village where I was raped, not by one person, but by two Serbians, one in uniform and one civilian. Today and every day, for 25 years later, I stand here and I'll stand in front of all the people in the world to remind them that Kosovo never fought for a revenge or to destroy other people. We fought for our freedom and liberty from Milosevic's regime, that a crime scene was committed to our people. I survived the cruelest weapon of war, but it is a daily struggle for the survivors. Sexual violence. War inside us never ends. So many of us fight for justice, and it's rarely delivered. We turn to our friends and allies, to institutions and to organizations to hold perpetrators accountable for the crimes they have committed against me and tens and thousands like me. For everyone in this room today, I'm here to share my story. I am so sorry. I got a copy. Sorry. Thank you.
You will hear my story too. You will hear it, so you will never forget it. More importantly, you all must do everything you can so that stories like this are told, not so we feel better by being relieved from the burden of carrying these scars, but so that those who did this don't get away with this. Those who are thinking about it, doing this, can't away with it. And more importantly, so the victims can heal, justice be served. I am Shurite Tahiri Suleimani. I am a survivor from the war in Kosovo, a survivor of rights advocate, and a member of Kosovo Rehabilitation Center of Torture Victims. I'm a member of SEMA Network. I'm a member of IRCT. I'm a member of Dr. Dennis Mukwege Foundation. I am here today not only as a wartime rape survivor, but also as an advocate for the rights of all survivors. I witnessed to the resilience of countless survivors who refuse to be silenced. My advocacy and activism uses my story to raise awareness about the needs of survivors of conflict-related sexual violence. Sharing the story is never easy. You will never recover from the pain that lives inside you, but just you learn to live with it. In my case, this crime impacted not only me, impacted my children too. Too often, the invisible impacts of this deplorable crime spans families and generations. My story begins in a war time in Kosovo in 1999. I was physically, psychologically, and sexually assaulted in the most brutal way possible by Serbian forces. I was completely defenseless. They did that in front of two of my daughters, who were only 3 and 1 years old at the time. What happened to me, to us, during the war, shattered our lives in many ways. I suffered in a silence for a long time. I relived that horrifying experience over and over again in my mind, blaming myself for not being able to defend myself and not for being able to shield my daughters from witnessing such a vicious crime. I know, I understand that while I did not choose what happened to me, I can and I must choose how I responded to it. Telling my story helps me more than physical scars and mental trauma. Fighting the stigma, the ignorance, prejudice is emotionally exhausting, but it is essential for healing, to restoring dignity, and to provide hope. We are all in this together: survivors, organizations, advocates, community, the country, and the world. I invite everyone in this room to be the agents of change that our world so desperately needs. We must ensure survivors have access to rehabilitation, legal aid, and mental health services. We must advocate for their rights and work tirelessly for the future free from the scourge of torture, of sexual violence. My story is your story. You have heard it, and you will keep it hearing until we put an end to the silence which provides impunity for the perpetrators. Thank you. Yeah,